he just lifted it again, went into the air, and behind him was actually, it's almost like the universe without stars. It's a space that a lot of near-death experiencers have been to, and they say it's a blackness, but it's not a fearful one. Here, the dark, we're afraid in the dark, but over there, it's a peaceful one. And Jesus expanded, his being expanded in the universe type of environment. And he became like a huge hologram, half a mile high. I just want to give that perspective to people, how big heaven is. And he took that amazing, his being was all energy. His whole being was pulsating, creative energy. His whole being, every pulse was creative. Every pulse of his entire being was creative. He became the light. He became the light. He was now a being of huge light, pulsating and a tremendous energy of creativity. I was feeling creation. I was feeling light. I was feeling oneness. Everything, as I was looking at that amazing being that had expanded, and I felt that could create anything. And at that moment, he said to me, and he looked at me, so imagine he looked at me from above like that, and he said, in my mind, of course, it's all telepathically, from knowing to knowing, he said, Yvonne, he said, I had my hand lifted like that, and I felt his energy touching it. And he said, Yvonne, I will give you my strength. I will give you my energy of life. And when he said that, I really felt in my spiritual being and in my body on earth, I really felt a liquid, an effervescent liquid energy entering my being. It was, like you see in those scientific program on TV, documentary, where they want to prove that one new product, one new medicine works really well, and they inject, they have those slides or those programs where you see that energy, that liquid that goes into a skeleton and into the nerves to show how well it will do to the being. I felt that was almost like a liquid that was an effervescent liquid, a sparkling liquid that was actually entering my whole being. And at the same time, I felt every muscle, every nerve, every bone, I'm not a scientist and I'm sorry, but every proton and everything that's in the body completely filled with that energy. It's almost like my entire DNA had been restored and re-energized. It was like a new DNA. It was completely renewed and re-energized. And it was Christ's compassion towards me. It was actually filling me with life so I could go back on earth, because I was done. My battery, when you have a battery on a device, when it's done, it's done. You need to recharge it. And I think that's what I needed. I needed to be recharged. Otherwise, I wouldn't go back. I was dead. He recharged my entire being. And for some reason, it stopped at my ankle, and I will never know why. I have absolutely no reason why it stopped. I've asked a few people. Isn't it weird?
Interesting. Interesting. It may have something to do with grounding on the earth when you come back. I don't know. It's just a wild guess, because the feet are so important to ground on the earth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some people say we have keep us from earth to heaven, that you have that silver cord. Was that the thing that I was feeling that was keeping me? I had a silver cord, and that was maybe that
I don't know.
I had always wondered.
I don't know. I definitely don't know.
But anyway, it was like amazing. It's very difficult to explain with human words the experience I had, because we are trying to translate a situation that would never happen on Earth. So we are using human words to something that absolutely is from another world. It's another reality. So we are using, once you step outside this Earth, you are in another reality, in another place, in another world. And so it's another reality. But I felt completely re-energized. And after that moment, Christ came back from that place, shrink back to a dimension that could around me. And I remember he came and kind of wrapped me again, and he said, Yvonne, at that moment he's looking at me and say, Yvonne, I love humanity. I love everybody. And at that moment, Ted, at that moment I understood that Christ is a universal Christ. Mm-hmm. Christ is not linked to one thought of process. He loves everybody, every soul that lives. I've been a Christian all my life, and sometimes we are guilty of thinking we have that elitic feeling that we're the best. But Christ didn't make me feel that way. Christ loved everyone, everybody, regardless of their background, their spiritual background, regardless of who they were. There was absolutely no difference. Love was love, period.
So
there was no.
I'm sorry.
Is period. It's not about, oh, I love you more because of this, or you deserve more because of that. Christ said to me, I love humanity, and he's added, I love my babies. Which is, and then he said, I love humanity, because I understood that Christ was the light. That light was Christ. The light is one with God. The light is one with everything. Everything is one with us. It was that huge oneness that I understood. And he said, it's love, Yvonne. And I love my baby. I love humanity.
On Earth, I'm sorry. On Earth, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just this question keeps coming up to me. I got to ask. On Earth, belief systems are so important to people, and people believe, they believe. They have a website online, a spiritual website called BeliefNet.com, which is interesting because that shows the extent to which the idea that spirituality is tied in with what you believe. And you believe a certain way, you're going to get to heaven. This Christ that you encountered does not seem to be dependent upon anybody's belief system. Is that correct? And what I'm hearing?
Ted, when you are in heaven, we are no longer on earth. We are in a dimension where Christ explained that it's all about the love. Yeah. Love is what matters, because he is love. Mm-hmm. Love is what matters. And it's not if you have been every Sunday to church or every Sunday to the synagogue, or if you have been every Sunday to here and there. That's not what matters. Mm-hmm. What really matters is that actually your heart, and I'm getting very passionate when I talk about that, because when I was Christ, that's what he showed me, is that he said, there is a scripture in the Bible that said God is love. and the Bible, and it's in 1 John. It's in the chapter of 1 John. God is love. And if you don't have love, God is not with you. If you have love, God is with you. And period. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That concept of if you have that God's love in you, because God is love, love is God. If you have that in you, you are connected with the source. You're connected with Creator. You're connected with your God, the higher self, anything you call it. You connect it. And then your life on earth will be lived as you should, with respecting your neighbor, giving to the poor, not making fun of everyone around you, not being humble, being thankful, grateful, not betraying people's trust, not gossiping and hurting and harming others, backstabbing. All those little details are a lack of love. So when you understand what love is, and that Christ is love, and if you want to understand, because Christ came on earth not to make a new cult. Christ came on earth to explain beyond religion, beyond what is religion, and that religion or not. He was a teacher of love. If you only take his teaching, if you only take that, and you see what man he was, beyond, when you don't think of the history of the church, and when you don't think of anything that has, the crusade, everything that has been done in the name of Jesus, which he would never have wanted to be done to start with. There's a difference that is very important between what has been taught throughout the centuries in a certain movement and what Christ's love is. There's a huge difference. So when you just read what he was teaching, it was love one another, give to the poor, visit the one who is in prison, help the needy, clothe the naked, love your neighbor like yourself. So he was saying, don't put your ego in between. That's what's gonna not make you successful. You can become as rich as you want. You can be as wealthy, as popular as you want. But if you don't have love, you will always feel empty inside when you go to bed at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to teach that. And to me, nowadays, I say I'm a Christ follower more than anything else. I'm not following any movement. I follow the lessons of love and respect and honor and inclusivity, because the big difference between heaven and earth is actually that in heaven we're all included as one, and on earth there's a lot of exclusion down, and it's difficult. Yeah. And so that's a big, it's like two polar opposites. Okay. So when Jesus said that it's all about love, and I said to myself, yeah, I know, because you're Jesus. I know you will say that because you taught us love on earth. You taught us how to love, how to heal people physically, but also emotionally. You were a healer on earth. So I know that's love. And then he said to me, Yvonne, I will show you how I love. Oh. And when he said that, sorry.
It's all right.
When he said that, it's the most beautiful moment. When he said that, Jesus took my heart. It took the essence of who I am. Who is Yvonne is, my essence, the existence of Yvonne itself, my heart. And he put it in his. He just put it in his with love and with care and blended us as one. And there's also another scripture somewhere in the Gospel of John, which is my favorite one because it's the one that preach love. I don't like condemnation. I don't like guilt. I don't like any of that. Love is the number one. So when he put me inside his heart, when Christ put me inside his heart, he said, that concept of being one with Christ is the concept of when Christ said, Father, may there be one like you and I are one. I felt that one with Christ. And what I'm saying is that we are all one. That once we are one with love, we can understand how to change and how to survive in this bitter world. And because you don't you'll be stronger. And actually, it's not a weakness to walk in love. In this world, we have learned that loving and being kind is a weakness. Actually, it's a strength because it's easier to be evil, mean, than when people are saying bad thing about a kind person and you're in the middle of the group. It's easier to say bad things than to say no. That's not right to say that. It's not right. It's easier to do evil than to do good. So it's harder to be kind. It's harder to walk with that level of love. And so I go back to my moment with Christ when he took my heart, put my heart in his, and blend me with him, with Christ. And at that moment, I felt the oneness. And that moment is the moment I will never be able to explain in human words because it's not from this world. The love I felt. Christ wanted me to feel for an instant how it felt to be in his heart, how it felt to be him, how it felt to be Christ, to have Christ emotion, because he wanted me to feel how much love he had for humanity, how much kindness, how much compassion, how much it was like oceans and waves of humongous waves of kindness, of goodness, of love, of care, of protection, of goodness, but also, and it's difficult because it's billions of emotion, love for not only for us, but for everything that's created in the universe, everything, all the dimensions that exist that we see. There's so many dimensions we don't see. We are restricted to this world here that we see, and we think that's all it is, but there's so much more. There's so much more. And that was the love for humanity. Christ had so much love, and there was no condemnation in that love. There was no guilt feeling, because once you're in heaven, you're so pure, you're so kind, because you can't be in that dimension with every evil, everything has been left behind of your emotion. You're pure, kind being, and at that moment I didn't feel any. He didn't have to forgive me, because forgiveness was implying that I had done something wrong, and so it would mean he would judge me. I was love with him, and that's what I felt, and it was just. There's been so much more in that moment that I cannot express. Maybe with time I will be able to express that more, but so far I can't. It's too out of this world. And after that moment, I did feel he took me out. And in heaven, actually, that merging phenomenon that I have experienced with Christ is a very common phenomenon in heaven. Every beings over there can merge the same way. To understand each other. For example, if you, Ted, I see you in heaven, and And I want to say, oh my gosh, Ted, what was your life on earth? Can I see it? And I can ask you, can I merge with you to see your life? And if you authorize me, because as you know, in heaven, everything is respect. Everything is respect. And if you authorize me, I will merge like Jesus merged. We will both our energy, because in heaven it's a very ethereal and a lot of energy. Both energy will become one, so that I can go in you with my spirit, and I can be you for a minute. I can be Ted for a minute. You authorize me, so I can have all your field of memory from since your birth. I can see that, and not only see it, I can live it as if I was you. I were you. So that I can feel every emotion you have felt, whether it's joy, but also sadness, trauma. I can feel everything, and I can see all the trouble and all the struggles you've gone through, and I can see how much you learned about it, how much you learned about the rejection you have experienced, and how much you learned about the joy you have experienced. That's how heaven is. And that's what I experienced with Jesus. And right after that, I knew my time was up. There was no longer a possibility to negotiate anything. I knew time was up, finished. It was time for me to come back. And I felt my spirit, really literally felt my spirit travel back into my body. And here I was, back in my body.
Wow. Well, like I said, it's incredible.
It is, and if I can leave something, that is love, and to open up again. I know that many people on earth has closed that because of all the injury. We are in a society, every society around the world, we grow up with a certain pattern of logic, social patterns. Everything is actually built, and we are kind of brainwashed in what is right and what's wrong since childhood. And I've traveled the world. I've been in many continents. I've been in Africa, I've been in Europe, I've been in Asia, Latin America, the US, and I can tell that everybody has different way of working, sometimes opposite one from the other, and yet society works. And so everyone has built, but we all have built stronghold because we've been hurt, we've been challenged, we gave our trust and we were trampled in our trust. We have, and then we have to close ourselves because this world doesn't function with the same laws as heaven function. In this world, we have to be tough to be a winner. How strong we are, and in order to be strong, we sometimes have to push other people away. So people here, we don't dare to love again. We don't dare to trust again. And we've closed ourselves through that to the dimension of the afterlife, the dimension of heaven, because we think it's too beautiful to think. It's just ridiculous. So we are very skeptical because life here has never given us very often the possibility to believe that that would come out of good things. But I understand. But my hope, if people listen to this message, is to give hope to people that there is an afterlife and you can connect to it, and there's a lot of good waiting for you, and that God exists, and God is love, and you can definitely reach to the creator of all. I like to call him the creator of all, exist beyond this world. And Christ has shown me that God exists, and that the Father exists. So that's my message. Be loved, be one, be loved, and be happy on this earth. It's worth.
I can see why you had to come back, or it was strongly suggested that you come back. Put it that way. Well, I want to say thank you very much. This was wonderful. It was really a beautiful experience. Uh, Everything I hoped it would be, and I know how much people are going to get out of this. Is there a way to contact you, or do you want to leave any information about websites or any other way that people can get in touch with you? And I can also put them down on the video after I do it. But
Oh yes, definitely. You can people can reach me in that that I've done that documentary, which will come out in November, and it's called Back from the Light.
mm-hmm.
So, which will focus on various people that have been dead and come back in different places of the U.S. and Europe. So they will tell their story, but more precisely how the after effect of it, how they live their life on Earth after such an experience. So people can reach me on that website called backfromthelight.com, and then they can contact, email there. I also have a Facebook page where people can reach me, and that Facebook page is called Think Heaven Now. Think Heaven Now. And I'm working on my website also. And Think Heaven Now, they can also reach to me there. And if they want to ask me any question, I'll be happy to answer.
You're on a book too, right?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
How far are you got now?
I'm working on a book. I have about, right now I'm at page 85.
85.
And I'm
okay.
at 140. I got that number from heaven, around 40. I'm stopping at page 140. It will be a book that talks about my life, like a biography, but also talk about my near-death experience and what I've learned from it.
Wow.
And it will come out probably December or January 2017.
Oh, wow. I'll be one of the first ones in line to read it.
I will offer it to you. I'll send. It's going to be a big gift for you.
Thank you very much.
Because you have been a gift to me today.
Well,
I thank you.
You've been a gift to the world, so you still are. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Thank you. Million thanks. That's all I want to add for you. I say thank you. And thanks to everyone that listened this my story. I just want to say thank you for listening to it. And I hope you will have felt the love of heaven, of God through the message. All blessings to everyone.
I did, for sure. All right. Take care, my friend. I will see you. I'll be in touch. Thank you again. Blessings.